to me. You're too nice. And I thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. It's so funny the way when the man was speaking earlier and he was saying, New York City, she chose it. I live right down the street. So there was other factors that factored in. I mean, I love Gotham as much as the next guy, but, you know. So anyway, I'll just jump right in, if you will. Okay. So, as you know, as dwellers of this city, you probably pretty much walk most everywhere. So, because we are pedestrian by nature, you frequently run into people who are not quite. Oh, hi! They have a little sign. Hi, Janeane. They went to the trouble of using a Sharpie on a piece of folded paper. And there's somebody holding up John 3:57 with an afro rainbow wig. That's great. Okay, so you're walking in the street, and naturally you will encounter people that you know well, and then lots of times people that you don't know that well. They are perhaps a friend of a friend, or you met them at a party or something. So you have to do one of these while you're walking, if I may utilize my space here. You're like walking, and you kind of see them, and you're like, hey, how are you? Oh, are we stopping? You just have a lot that. And then you know that do we kiss? You know, like is it one of those kind of things now, the cheek kiss, or are we there at that point? So the notebook, yes, as you know, Garofalo is a little forgetful. Has to bring the notebook between the NutraSweet and the Fen-Phen. I don't know whether to shit or wind my watch at this point. I gotta have a thing happening here because I don't want to forget what I want to discuss with you. I owe you that much. But let me ask you this, though, first and foremost. Who's your favorite Spice Girl? Mine is Sporty Spice, and I'll tell you why. You know what? She might not be as aesthetically pleasant as the rest, but she'll do a backflip and steal your heart. So the smoking lobby, as some of you may or may not be affected by as a smoker, I just must say it is the most ridiculous bit of politics to use a phrase. No, don't clap. No. You make me seem like I'm like a prophet or something, and I'm so not. So the smoking thing is just such obvious politics, you know what I mean? And like they have the thing wherein we've got to keep our kids away from these things. Has any child, or when you were a child, have you ever been attracted to the scrotal-nosed camel? Anyone? Has that ever incited you to smoking, or? I want to be like the Marlboro, craggy, good-looking, middle to later age guy on the range. I'm going to light up right now. And then there was that advertising for smoker. I can't remember what the brand was, but it was apparently the brand that appealed to gay millionaires. You know, the guy had the ascot, and he was like, woo! He was like, kind of like, what kind of cigarette was that? But it was such a specific demo, I can't imagine they're still in business for the Charles Nelson Riley and all of us. We can smoke that cigarette. But you know, all this concern about, and then the people litigious about smoking, people suing. What is the most obviously bad for you thing that we've ever had on the market, ever, and then to sue for, you know, getting health things about that? It would be like suing the city of New York and being like, I was in the subway nude at 3 a.m. and I was verbally and physically assaulted, and I'm suing the transportation department. I didn't know that if I went down nude and people could see my vagina that I would have problems. So I think there's really a lot better things we can keep our kids from, too. That really isn't the worst. Because, you know, actually, though, when kids start the smoking, they get in that damn car and they drive like crazy. And they start fighting. I say we have a lobby to keep our youth from eventually pledging frats. Let's steer them clear of perhaps organized sports or frats or sororities or militias of any kind of religious zealotry or misguided patriotism would be a good thing, because Nationalism and patriotism in the wrong hands will destroy lives. It really will. Because I'll tell you something, it takes a village to ruin a child. I think we've proved that time and time again in this country. So, I know that I went on I have some religious stuff, and I hope this doesn't, okay, here we go. As you know, Ralph Reed is exiting the Christian Coalition, and, by the way, you know, Ralph Reed all along, joke's on you, that was always Dave Foley doing a character. The guy from News Radio, that was always, the joke's on us. But in his place has come Rockin' Randy. That's his name, Rockin' Randy. And he was so dubbed because he actually has a very limited knowledge of music. He's not into contemporary music or anything, and he's a young guy. And his cohorts in Christian land said, let's Rockin' Randy. And then somebody said, but you know what? Don't tell people that's why. It's one of his strategists. Keep it at Rockin' Randy, because that'll really bring the young people in. I'm not kidding. That's the kind of thinking that I'm talking about. And it sort of goes like, do you remember when the Dole Kemp ticket was grappling with the age issue, and there was the big thing that it was perhaps a problem because they hadn't captured the hearts and minds of the MTV generation as Clinton had. And so they had shills from the Grand Old Party, the GOP. They had shills at any kind of gathering of Dole Kemp when they would be speaking, when they were polling, where they would have these guys planted, the young Republicans planted it in the audience with signs that said, Kemp is the dude. Kemp is the dude. And then you looked at him in a whole new way. I mean, if the air passes didn't do it for you, the old air passing of the football, so you go, hey, the guy played football and... Like, that's such a boon to my liking. Organized sports, I love it. And so it also is like, do you remember way back when that Marine guy, Jeffrey McDonald, Fatal Vision guy, he slew his entire family? Is that a word? They were the slewies, and he slew them. And to place blame, he didn't want anyone to know he did it. Military man that he was, he wrote on the wall, acid is groovy. So that you go, those damn dirty hippies. Those damn dirty hippies. They're always coming into your house smoking the pot and slewing your daughters while they sleep in their bed. And it's like such clear evidence that he did it. What do they say? What do the young people say? Acid is groovy. And here's some legislation, thank the good Lord, that this passed before the break for vacay. No cloning! No cloning! Urgent, big red rubber stamper. Let's get this out of the, let's deal with this, the no cloning issue. I wasn't really worried about it. I don't know about anybody else, but it really wasn't keeping me up nights. I think I'll worry about it when we finally get our jetpacks and our food pills for 5-course meals. I think then we'll deal with that, because I think during Roddenberry times we were promised those two things. I haven't seen them. But just in case that wasn't enough for you for Congress to get involved, the Vatican had something to say about it. The Vatican Council met, and I took this out of the New York Times. Here's what they said after a big meeting. Human cloning would not lead to identical souls because only God can create a soul, a panel set up by Pope John Paul has concluded. Right on. And they also took care of a couple other things that were burning issues. Apparently, tricks are indeed for kids. And one other thing. After much deliberation, it's been decided that no, you cannot tackle the kid after he releases the ball and smear the queer. Can't do it. So we get that out of the way. Now, let me ease you gently into this next piece. And actually, I don't mean you. I mean the TV you. The letter writers out there, the people that are rushing to judgment, the people that are going to hate me in about a minute and a half. Let's start at this and use this as a springboard. Now, I was raised very Catholic. I have been very Catholic. I remember as a child my favorite phrase being, the Mass has ended, please go in peace. And I would always be like, oh my God, one down, 1,100 to go. So I was like, CCD, CYO organization. I went to a very Catholic college. I went to Providence College of Rhode Island. I was seeking. I was questioning. I was trying to learn. I have a grandmother that actually goes to Portugal to get holy water of Fatima to rub on her arthritic ankle. And when I go to her apartment, inevitably as I'm leaving and she tries to foist foil-wrapped foods on me, she'll say, "Do you need anything?" And I'll say, every time I do this, I go, "Do you have any holy water of Fatima?" And she always goes, I do! Like it's a... And so let me just stress that I'm not anti-religion. I know what it's like to be spiritual. I know what it's like to try and think of these things. Now, after much deliberation in my 32nd year of life, I feel that I am not religious. I feel secular and drawn to science. I don't believe, and I'm not saying that's good, bad, or indifferent. I am not better than anyone who believes. I realize the need in the human condition to feel that there is a being that does things for you and will take care and all of that kind of thing. I understand it. I respect you for it. So the thing that kills me, though, when it comes to religion is very religious people refuse to allow you to have your opinion. They will boycott you. They'll write a letter. They are allowed to scream from the mountaintops what they believe in. You are not allowed that same thing. You're just wrong. That's all there is to it. And it's interesting that when you come from that perspective and you think about what's going on in the world geopolitically and religious-wise, whether it's the Taliban fighters, the mullahs, the Protestants, the Irish, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, if you are not religious, you kind of see it as just insanity. And I realize that their issues are not just religious-based, but they are about sovereignty and things of that nature. But it all goes back to the fact that these seeds were planted on these books, the books of religion, which are beautiful works of fiction. They're just lovely. I mean, somebody's a great writer. You don't have to applaud that. I'm just saying these guys are great writers. These guys who wrote and added addendums to suit their fancies and made arbitrary rules, these guys are great writers. But the important thing being that we keep the women in the back seat. That's the main gist of all religions. Because we're scared of the vagina. But somehow it all leads to fear of the vagina. But I can hear the typewriters clicking as we speak. So the thing is, if you see these books this way, and I respect that you may not see them that way, it's like as if in this country we were fighting over Grisham novels. Or we had declared the bridges of Madison County sacred ground, whereupon nobody builds. Nobody builds. And here's another thing I have to say to the anti-choice types, the pro-life people who always have an answer for everything. Who God will provide. We'll love these children. Okay, all of you who want to be that way and want to block clinics and deny the rights of others and so on and so forth. Here's what I propose: the buddy system. Okay, have it your way. Have it your way. All these kids need to be born, so now you get a buddy for 18 to 21 years who's federally assigned to you. And this is going to be your little buddy. And this child that you seem to want so desperately is now under your tutelage for the next 2 decades. And not only that, but you are now federally required to spend at least 40 hours of leisure quality time with this child and give over about 50% of your income to this child, to the care and feeding of this child. So I think we can all have our cake and eat it too once the buddy system is in place. Granted, not really a joke, but how often do you get a mic in your hand, you know? So, I'm sorry. Don't anybody trip on my soapbox on the way out. Don't anybody trip over that. And the chip on my shoulder is a little heavy. I have back problems now, but... So here's another thing. I have to go to court because I was foolish enough to admit that I witnessed a crime or an incident, let's say. Now, I don't know the legalities of me being able to discuss this, so let's talk in hypotheticals, shall we? Let's just say I saw something. about a year ago. Let's just, for the sake of argument, I happen to be walking up, 6th Avenue. We'll just say that. I just pulled that out of my ass. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So I'm walking up 6th Avenue, and all of a sudden I hear behind me the sound of what I think is scraping metal. So as I turn toe to be a looky-loo, I notice that it is not the sound of scraping metal, but it is in fact a New York cab dragging a businessman. And the sound I'm hearing is his corporate shoes with sparks flying. Sparks flying literally from his heels. And it goes whizzing past the cab driver, blowing through the red lights, in theory. And so I was like, oh my God, I've got to see how this plays out. So I run after the cab. And let's say I might have been down by McDonald's. And let's say I see that the episode is drawing to a close because some cops have gotten involved, perhaps around Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know. And so I'm standing there, and when I get there after seeing the businessman being dragged, get this, then I come to find I see the businessman sitting on a fire hydrant blowing on his feet. He's talking to ye old hot foot, blowing on his foot, and yelling into a cell phone. And so he's blowing on his feet, intermittently chastising. Some heads were going to roll, apparently. And his corporate shoes were on the hood of the cab, curled up like genie slippers. Swear to God, they were like Aladdin slippers. That's how bad the dragging was. So even the police were laughing. I mean, everyone was like, "Oh, seriously?" And so the policeperson said, "Did you see this?" And I went, "Oh my, did I see it? I ran the whole thing." And I never run, unless I have to do, I ran. And we're laughing. And so she says, "Can I have your name and phone number and blah, blah, blah." So I give it to her thinking nothing's going to happen. So then I get a call from maybe it was the DA's office, I don't know. And the guy says, "You got to come to court to say that you saw this." And I was like, "Oh, I don't believe this." But the thing is, though, at this point, I'm so not invested in it, and I don't even, I don't care that I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and then if the prosecutor even tries to do anything, I'm going to say, "Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely. I didn't see a thing." In fact, I'm going to even look shifty, like I might perjure myself. I'm actually going to sit in the witness box with a newspaper with eye holes cut out of it. Just regard everyone. So there's that. Okay, let's talk about this new phase of my life. I used to make so much fun of dog owners. Not that I made fun of them actively or to their face. I just never really had an opinion on dogs or anything like that, and didn't dislike them. I just, never wanted to have one or anything. And I was kind of like a little sketchy about, he's going to be on the bed sleeping or whatever, So then I was in Utah, right? And I was working, and I was in Deweyville, Utah, which is this very rural area. And we're working and walking around the locations, and all of a sudden there's like, there's like this thing. And so one of the crew guys and myself investigated, and so underneath this house, lo and behold, I find a 4-week-old golden lab. So I'm like, fuck, I have a dog now. Fuck it. God damn it. And not only that, I'm now a dog person, like one of those people that talks about them nonstop, and I'm now part of the dog park community, and I donate tennis balls and hose off things, or I'll even curb a dog that's not mine in the dog park to keep the harmony of the community going. And I'll get in every inane conversation in the world with other, because I'll tell you, dog people are just a little bit crazy. You know that. Don't even front. Straight up and down, don't even bother. Don't Wu-Tang Clan me. There are so many eccentric dog people who are just, come on. And they're like Renaissance fair people, or people who like to recreate the Civil War, those type of people that like, get dressed up once a year we meet, or like when the Mormon people redid the Trek of the Mormons, dressed in the regalia. And so even to the point where I went to the holistic dog store, right? And the dog's name is Doo, for two reasons: Deweyville, A, and because Loretta Lynn's husband, Doo, and my favorite movie in the world is Coal Miner's Daughter. Doo. Now y'all hush up, listen to me sing. Doo. Big old bar. I love it. I'll watch Coal Miner's Daughter. Tommy Lee Jones and Sissy Spacek are so amazing in that movie. I just love Doo. I just wish I was Southern and everything, and so I named it Doo, so I could say Doo. So I take it to the holistic dog store, and when you get in the place, the first thing the guy does is take the flea collar from around the dog's neck, cuts it up like a credit card, and says, "Would you like toxic chemicals around your neck?" Huh? And I was like, "No. No, sir. How can I make amends?" And I think to the point where this guy had me like davening my way out of the store, like, "Yes, you are." And the whole thing, "What are you feeding your dog?" I am, Jesus wept when the I am, and like that. So I buy like about $6,000 worth of absolutely useless holistic cedar crystal beds, a crystal chain, ear relief, like lotion for the ears, and tea tree oil coat luster, like every breath assure for a dog, and which actually has worked out well though. That I will spend the money on. So anyway, so then I'm and also, well, I don't know whether I should put this here or I'll talk about this though. Okay. So Doo, actually, who has a certain lack of discipline, because he's an angel, and he actually doesn't really know his name because I don't ever use it. I have every term of endearment in the book. A little piece of angel food cake. Who's a member of the Tail Waggers Club? Hi, Bay, which is a nickname I stole from another person. Bay. So I call him Bay, Angel Food Cake, Tail Waggers Club, Belly Boy, everything in the world. So he is totally confused at all times and couldn't possibly come when called. And but he is a slice of Angel Food Cake. Okay, so here's a problem we had since coming back from Utah. When we were in Utah, Doo had a real good housebroken sense because he was always huge outdoors. We had a backyard, the whole thing. Now we've come back to New York and he just is not into going to the bathroom outside anymore. It's not going to happen. Whether it be that he's vulnerable and doesn't want to squat amidst the hubbub, I don't know what it is. But it's a behavioral issue. So basically I clean up a lot of shit. A lot of shit. My carpets are horrifying. And now I'm one of those kind of dog people, too. So, like, if I have friends over, it's smelly a little bit. Everything's covered in dog hair. I'm kind of smelly. I'm kind of doggy. I'm kind of one of those doggy people that, on the one hand, bespeaks a casualness that is refreshing. But on the other, it's repugnant. So we have that, and I've decided that the shit that I can't keep ahead of is a tangible metaphor for my life. It's just an overwhelming amount of shit that keeps coming and coming. You clean it up and it's not over. It's more and more and more. And okay. So then here's the story goes on from here. So then I go to another dog store to buy bones, carrot bones, for Doo, because I heard they're good for his eyes. And I'm buying the carrot bones, and lo and behold, there is a very sick little dog, and it was just not healthy looking and shaky. So I have 2 dogs now, and I've got the 2 of them. And this one's name is in theory Mercer, but I call it Stink Doodle because it's a stink doodle. And we have the cute awards every night. Mercer's been sweeping. Every night we give them out, and Angel Food Cake's getting a little, he's trying very hard, but he's almost like the Lucci of cute awards now, you know. So let's talk about the summer blockbuster movies. The summer blockbusters, which I think we all remember where we were when Rush Hour hit the water. That was an important day. So I go see Jurassic Park 2 for about a minute and a half. And I had to start gathering my things when stock character number 23 presented himself. The guy with the denim and the long hair. Hey, man, dinosaurs. You gotta believe I'm the dreamer. Whenever the dreamer shows up, Garofalo's got to pack it in and go home. I don't like dreamers in my life. I don't like them in the celluloid. I don't cotton to the dreamer. So here's the thing about when you go see blockbuster type movies like Batman or whatever, and God bless the movie makers, and I know people love event films, and believe me, I in no way think that I make art. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not standing here going, hey man, when I got dragged by that dog on roller skates, I still wake up in cold sweat over that, grinding my teeth to their nubs going, why did they make me do that? But anyway, so believe me, I'm not talking from a place of I'm all art for art's sake and commerce can go fuck itself. I'm just saying, these blockbuster movies really do throw all dialogue and character arc out the window. I mean, it really is all about pleasing the masses. And the bewildered herd go because they can get a cup at Taco Bell that corresponds, and so the thing is, though, I've been known to go to some, and I went to The Devil's Own actually, and I actually really like that movie, but it's a Brad Pitt movie, and this is nothing against Brad Pitt, but first of all, Brad and Gwynnie, why? Why? What happened? Can't make it work. What hope do any of us have? I haven't felt this devastated since Krakow was left standing with his bike and Jordan Catalano pulled away with Angela. It's not right. It's not right. So I go see The Devil's Own. Now the problem with that being also a blockbuster is you have idol in it too, a young screen idol. I mean, Harrison Ford is an idol too. I love Harrison Ford. But what you have is the idol of choice of like everyone, from people that are discerning to the gal that goes to Fanfare and Branson, or the person who wants the bold and beautiful autographs at the mall or whatever. Everybody's taken care of with Mr. Pitt. So the thing is, I go see The Devil's Own, and you now have to sit shoulder to shoulder with John and Jane Q. Public, which can be a little trying and toiling. And you also have to sit through the trailers that are aimed at that demo, right? So before The Devil's Own, there was about 6 trailers that were loud, and this is what the gist, I think, of them all was Ed Harris had to wake the president. That was very important. The waking of the president had a lot to do with a lot of things that were going to blow up. And then you got your comedy trailer for that demo. So let me save you summer money. If you see in a comedy trailer, anyone go, I love this job, and then followed by Louie Louie, Wooly Bully, or Moni Moni, don't go. Because you're not going to like it. In your action trailer, if anybody says, I'm too old for this shit, followed by maybe Bad to the Bone as your music. I mean, if these writers aren't even going to try, who sits at their computer and says, I'm too old for this shit, writes that down and actually thinks they can get away with that. So I'm watching these trailers for the Devil's Own with these people, and that's fine, and everybody's nice and blah-de-blah, but I couldn't help overhearing conversations, and some of these teens who were just there because Brad's dreamy. What's this movie about? I don't know. I think Brad Pitt is an exchange student. I swear to God. And I think he sleeps with Harrison Ford's wife. And then they had that retro thing that comes on the screen. Let's all go to the lobby, and the hot dog backflips into the bun. And the voiceover said, there's still 10 minutes to go to get some refreshments. And one of the teens goes, that wasn't even 10 minutes long. And all of his cohorts agreed that was indeed fucked up. That's fucked up. Clearly that was not 10 minutes long. And I was not just doing a racist black scent right there. That was yet another white teen lifting black culture to increase their street cred. That was a white kid who said that. And that phenomenon has really spread far and wide. I was in Aspen, Colorado, which I'm not saying for good or for ill. Aspen, Colorado is a Caucasian-moneyed enclave. It just is. I'm not saying that's a good thing. It just is. And I was up there for the Aspen Comedy Festival. And I'm in one of their bakeries, getting my multigrain fat-free muffin, red flag of the eating disorder, the muffin. Keep your eye on the ladies with the muffins. So, getting my muffin, and of course we'll just eat the muffin top, and if you can get frozen yogurt or just say on the muffin top, so much the better for dipping. But and by the way, that's the problem in New York with those mom and pop delis. They're so on to you, and you're eating foibles and things. Give me a chain anytime where it's a faceless, nameless society and they can't figure out that I have a problem. So I'm in the bakery, this upscale bakery, and this very, like, Barbie and Ken, picture-perfect, or as culture would have you believe, picture-perfect family comes in with a teenage daughter. And I'm buying my muffin, and she comes up and she goes, she's blonde, like, looks like just totally like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And she comes up and she goes, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Yeah, I thought that was the dog movie. Oh, shit. And her Patagonia-clad parents were like, I know. And I can't wait for the next fad, though. And I predict it's going to be Pennsylvania Dutch culture. And very Amish. And it's going to be bonnets and butter churns. So. And by the way, another movie I loved. Can I share this with you? I loved Chasing Amy. I absolutely loved it. I really, really did. I thought it was so great. And it was a romantic comedy for people who hate romantic comedies, basically. And it spoke to a demographic that never, ever, ever gets addressed. The kind of smoking, comic book reading, you know. I can't really be clear on what I mean, but if you know what I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was such a great movie, but here's the thing about that movie that made me weep. The scene wherein Ben Affleck, the dreamy comic book artist, stops the car and professes his love for Joey Lauren Adams, the baby-voiced lesbian. And that's also my favorite, these male movies with the lesbians that look like that. Did you go to the Dykes on Bikes parade? I don't think so. Not a lot of Joey Lauren Adams walking around at the Dykes on Bikes. And I also went to the Dykes who love their dogs. And I'm not even gay. Yes, I can see how you'd make that mistake. And if I was gay, I'd be proud, proud, proud. You know who my favorite kind of gay is in the parade? The bantamweight Hispanic, who is frequently given to flights of fancy and drama. Very wiry, will wear the LeMay lace-up football pants type shorts and the Doc Martens, and he's always dominating the float. And I love every time the floats stop. And they have to grab the pole and regain their composure. That's my fave. That's my favorite gay. When asked, that's my favorite gay. And then it was so funny because it was Gay Pride weekend, as you know, and I'm on, for those of you who are not familiar with New York, out in TV land, whatever, Christopher Street is a hotbed of gay activity. And it's a wonderful place to be. But I'm walking my dogs. All roads lead to my dogs, don't they? I'm walking my dogs at midnight because they go out for their final midnight walk so that I can sleep till 7. If they don't go at midnight, they get up at 5. So I'm walking the dogs, and it's like midnight on Gay Pride night, and everybody's just proud as punch. And there's so much activity. And then there's this one guy that drives by in a car going, "We're here! We're queer! Get used to it!" And I was like, dude, you are so preaching to the converted. Who are you being... Why do you have a chip on your shoulder? You're on Christopher Street. You know, it was like so weird. And get used to it. And it was really nasty. And he's talking to like huge drag queens with feather boas coming out of their asses, you know. And so the thing about Chasing Amy was, okay, so did I say this already, or did I digress? When Ben Affleck pulls the car over and talks to Joey and tells her how he feels about her, and I was like going, that will never happen to me. That will never, ever happen to me. And by the way, honesty does not work except for celluloid, so don't even try that. But to tell people that you like them will only serve to make them not like you. I mean, basically that's all that's going to do. No matter how much you like them, if they're going to give you a full disclosure, now they're not cool. You like me? Oh, like that? So even if it did happen to me, it can't happen to me, because if the cute comic book guy says, "I love you, and I'm better for loving you," or all this stuff, then I would have to be like, well, you're just going to have to take me home because I don't respect you at all anymore. Be a man. God, be aloof. What's your problem? Don't call. You want me to like you? Don't pick up that damn phone. Don't. But everybody else seems to find a soulmate. Have you noticed that? Everybody else seems to be able to make it happen. And I'm talking about even people, okay, I can't make it happen, yet somehow Chang and Ang, the Siamese twins attached to the chest, and Stephen Hawking and the Shine guy, and then that kid who shot his face off, are all happily married and breeding. And I don't want to sound like a dick about this, but come on. I mean, these people have sex. And not only that, but Chang and Ang fathered like 9 and 10 kids apiece while being attached to the chest. So, and I know that the ladies, as a rule, are tolerant. I know this about the female sex. If they like the guy, they're tolerant, but we are really pushing the envelope here with Stephen Hawking and the guy who shot his face off, you know? And I'm worried because I have matronly upper arms, you know? I can't get intimate because I have matronly upper arms. And there's 2 kinds of women in the world, those with matronly upper arms and those with visible biceps, and never the twain shall meet. And because the bicep gals don't get it, and the matronly upper arms girl know about life and love and losing. And do you know how hot it has to be for Garofalo to go sleeveless? And why I'm referring to myself in the third person, which I've never ever done before tonight. I've never ever referred myself as Garofalo ever. I sound like I'm on an intramural flag football team or something. And I will wear a sweater or a sweat jacket or a long sleeve shirt until it's literally 110 degrees out. But and tonight I wore a short sleeve thing because it's really hot up on stage. But I'm telling you, it has to be extenuating circumstances. And I actually went sleeveless 3 days last week because you know how hot it was. Plus, I can't turn the air conditioner on in my apartment because Mercer has a chronic respiratory infection. And the air conditioner exacerbates that, so we sit around and sweat a lot. Okay, here's the other couples that I'm concerned about. Not concerned about, just that I gave one pause. Gave me pause. You kind of go to any touristy type place, whether it be Times Square, Disney World, Branson, any of these places that maybe suburbanites might go or something. And you see these couples who are like wear matching shirts or maybe jackets, and the guy usually has like achy breaky hair, and the woman inevitably has that kind of blondish perm with the crispy bangs. They both have crispy hair problems. And all I have to say to those people is, Nexus, size of a dime. What does it take, really? Just leave it in. And so anyway, so I happened to be in Times Square last Christmas, and it's very touristy, as you know. And I'm walking behind a couple with the matching silk jackets that say Grease on them. And so the woman says to her betrothed or whatever, she says, "Hey, Ray, I just gave that hobo a quarter." A hobo, a real live New York hobo. Can you believe it? And I just wanted to say, well, actually it's 1996 now. This was last year. Politically correct term is boxcar Willie. That's what they're comfortable with. It's the boxcar Willie. And you know what? He's going to take that quarter and go right back to his Hooverville and eat a can of baked beans out of that kerchief on a stick that he's got. And also in the couple thing, here's another thing. We all have in our peer group a couple wherein the man who's dating a woman is clearly gay. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I am not a gay basher. I am just saying, you know what I'm talking about. There is one guy who you dine with and who you see regularly with the girl who's been your friend since college. Let's just say hypothetically. And he is clearly gay. Again, you say, now, what brought them together? What are the issues? That's what I can't get my mind around. Get them a magazine rack, because they've got a lot of issues. That is where the woman is comfortable with that, and he's comfortable with her, and what's going on. And then there's the clearly gay guys, like your Lord of the Dance, and your Michael Crawfords, your Andrew Lloyd Webbers, and the giveaway is always that Siegfried and Roy fashion sense that they have. The oils, the leathers, the Loverboy headband, all of that. Fluffed hair, it's fluffed and folded. Hey, who wants to hear the stories about my ruptured ovarian cysts? It's great. It is a story that has been passed down from generation to generation, and we love it. So here's the story. I was looping a film, and I sneezed and passed out. And they thought I had appendicitis, so they took me to the hospital. But as it turns out, I had ruptured a series of ovarian cysts that, unbeknownst to me, were residing in my area. And as you know, if you've seen me work before, I still have the don't ask, don't tell policy with my vagina. I don't bother it. She minds her own beeswax. I stay up here. And she doesn't sass me. No back talk, none of that. She's not flippant at all with me. So we had to find out about my cysts by having a very thorough exam by the gynecologist. Again, another cure for hubris if you're suffering from that. And whilst he's down there, he peers up from between my knees and goes, my wife and I love you on the Larry Sanders Show. And I was like, that's so great. And now I think you can enjoy it on a whole nother level, you and your wife. And with that, I left the office. And the thing is that I've noticed is that I get recognized rarely, but only at inconvenient times when it would be not good to be recognized. There is whenever I'm coming out of a public restroom, usually Starbucks, go figure, I don't know why, but inevitably someone will be like a fan out of the restroom. But let me say this, and I don't like to work blue, and this next area is not for the squeamish, but let me just say this. Put it this way. the person who was in the bathroom prior to me, let's say, compromised the integrity of the room, shall we say? Kind of had their way with the bowl. And hey, man, I know the stall, she is a harsh mistress sometimes. I know that. I'm no stranger to the fight, but it's not me, you know, and so it's like the person ahead of me who shows no respect. And I'll come out, and the person's about to go in, and I'm just like, oh, man. Because you know they're going to say, I saw that girl. I don't know what her name is, but that girl, she stinks. But that whole thing, I'd be like, something that you know that they say that's gross. And as gross as this whole bit is, why I even go to this, I don't even know. But so, and also in Starbucks bathrooms, it seems to me people are just going insane in there. Like, whoa! Ripping shit out of the wall, like kicking over the cans and moistening the tiles in some way. And so when I know somebody has recognized me, I will tidy up when I'm in there. And yeah, I'll reward myself with a roll of TP. Yeah, of course I will. I deserve it. I got a knapsack. And but one time when I did buy the 8-pack, because I always forget to buy. That's the thing is I don't mean to steal it. I just keep forgetting. I keep procrastinating it. I am like king procrastinator. I actually wrote down this set at about 3 o'clock today. And I had like 19 weeks to prepare. And last night I actually reread a book that I read once and wasn't even that pleased with, just to not do this. What toilet paper? And so I bought an 8-pack of toilet paper, the tall pack. And I'm walking through Washington Square Park, and you can't really conceal that. And not that you need to, but this group of skateboarders started laughing at me. And they were like, look what she has. And I was like, do you guys ever land a move, ever? You know, when you watch those guys? Have you ever negotiated the railing? They never get it. And I don't know what keeps them hanging on. What motivates? Did one guy do it once and it was like a great thing or something? Here's another thing. Again, this is a potentially alienating area, but I just hear me out. I'm sorry to bring this up. It has to do with Orenthal Jones. I even changed the name a little because even the letters might go, oh. But O.J., as you know, wants custody of his children because he doesn't want them to forget their black heritage. This from the man who married the Nordic homecoming queen. And he wants them to reside in Brentwood, which, if you've ever been to Brentwood, California, it is the most culturally rich ethnic soil, from the Living Well Lady Spa to the California Pizza Kitchen. It is just, you know, Harriet Tubman actually just added a stop on the Underground Railroad there. They didn't have to go through there. She wanted the people with her to see and learn and be inspired. And here's another thing. I love Fred Goldman. I honestly do. We all do. We all do. Now, having said that, the Dudley Do-Right mustache. Fred, we love you. That's not what we're talking about. What we are saying is, or what I am saying is, I just expected him every day to show up with some frosty mugs. You know what I mean? Just for everybody, addressing the jurors by name. First, say, how are you? And then photos of bare-knuckle boxers behind him, you know. I lived in Ireland for 3 months, and it was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. Everything people say about Ireland is true. It is magic. It is magical. I woke up every morning to find candy in my shoes and underwear. I don't know where it came from. My shoes were cobbled, and my hats were blocked. I don't know. And, I mean, it was so fantastic that by month 3, I was like, not another goddamn rainbow. God damn it. I don't want to be feeling good today. It was just incredible. And it's just everything everyone says it is. I was doing a movie there, which doesn't have a title, but it's coming out in September without a title. But it's the one with me and Dennis Leary in Ireland. That'll be the one that it is. And I'm not saying you have to go. I'm just saying it'll have a title, but I can't tell you what it is. And Milo O'Shea's in it. So if you see Irish people, that's probably what it is. And so I was there, and I couldn't drive there because I can't make that other side of the road thing happen. And so I had a Scottish driver, this Glasgowian, who I never understood a word he said for those long treks through the country. It was just purely like, and I just sat there in the seat like this the whole time, going, yeah? Oh, that's so cool. I know. Like for the whole thing. And so now there's a scrappy Scottish fellow at a comedy club in Scotland somewhere going, I had the dumbest girl in my car. So to wrap things up, in summation, this will be the last thing, and then I'll get out of your hair. But you guys have been just utterly delightful. And no, I'm serious. It sounds like I'm always being facetious. That's why I never hit voiceover work. You sound like you hate the product. And I'm sorry, regrettably, I have to leave you on a hack bit, but sometimes your life really does resemble an oft-used premise. And my boyfriend did break up with me recently. I mean, I know that's like the lamest thing in the world that people say about comics say that, but it's true. And he broke up with me over the phone. So like many people, many people, I must have checked my voicemail 7,000 times a day, waiting for that. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. And of course, when you're on the Jamesons, you check it about 17,000 times a day. And it resonates deeply, that voice. I can never hear that shrewish, calculating, mocking, you have no new message. I can never hear her again. So what I've done at great expense is I've hired Wilford Brimley, the oatmeal man, to do my outgoing message now. So now when I call, he says, kiddo, if he can't see how special you are, he ought to have his head examined.